Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Okay, let's see who we got here. Lorna Castellanos. Hello. Verta Sanchez, Patricia Nixon, Daphne Gabrielle. Hello. Hello to AADKD. Okay, and Puzzle Dot, Fancy, Winsome James, Church Nelly, Catherine Bryant. Hello to Myra V. Who else is here? Janine Bell, April R. Coleman, Teresa Weisman. Hello to Church Nelly, Olivia Johnson, Angela One Love, Kanitha Ash, Cat Love Harlem. I'm sorry, Cat Harlem. Elaine Parker, MJB, Church Nelly, Exquisite Caribbean Queen. Let's see what you're talking about. Oh, yeah, you're right. Exquisite. All right. Fatal Hackman. And who else here? Shirley Kearney. Yes. Julia Rock. Annie Bennett. Alma Andrews. B10 Powell. Mary H. Fancy. Joan Commonwealther. I think I said Janine Bell. Carol Rennie. And Catherine Bryant. Am I repeating myself? Etney Green, Gwendolyn Daniels, Kids Door, Eleanor Parker, Peterson, that is, Andrea Allen, Navi D, Joan Garcia, Marlon David. All right. Am I starting to repeat myself? All right. Okay, so let's move on then. Oh, okay. I see that. Something out the corner of my eye. There it is. That always catches my eye. Right church, wrong pew. Right church, wrong pew. Thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. I cannot believe it's Friday. I just cannot believe it's Friday. I mean, where did the time go? Oh my goodness. It is already Friday. Do you guys realize it's already Friday? It's Friday. Okay. Sorry about that. Just had a sip of water. And um as things go, I feel better. Yesterday I looked at that picture, that photograph of that shrew, that imposter, that usurper that married into the royal family and has gotten as grand as, oh, I don't know. She's like Princess Michael of Kent 2.0. Anyway, she's gotten to be quite grand, gotten a little bit too big for her britches. But anyway, I'm not going to start thinking about her again because, oh boy, she was trending on, I guess, Sussex Squad Twitter the worst possible way yesterday. So take a look here. African leaders were packed in a bus during the during the England's Queen burial ceremony. Billions of people around the world watched the ceremony live. We saw how they treated Australian leader, Sweden leader, Joe Biden, and others. Okay. So when I say they, of course, I do mean the powers that be, the British government, right? Thank you, Elaine Parker, for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And also thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Happy Friday to you. So, and there they are, all packed in there like a bunch of school kids. But there was one African leader that was having none of it, absolutely none of it. And there she is right there. The only African representative who refused to be packed in a bus was President Sahil Work Zudi. I hope I got that right. Zudi? Or is it Zud? Zudi of Ethiopia. She was asked to go by the bus. She said, I won't go like this. I need the same level of respect as the others. This has many implications. And so she wouldn't do it. She just wouldn't do it. Um, it says here, I have my own embassy cards for protocol. They couldn't convince her and let her use the Ethiopian embassy protocol. How about that? How about that? Hey, Lydia Washington. Uh, Judy Rigo, hello. How about that? Somebody just said no. How powerful is it to say no? That is like one of the most powerful words that you can use in the English language, or you could even use no in Russian. Niet, niet, no. Just say no. Black Queen says, hello, Baron. Don't want you to feel bad, but did you see the pic of Chuck and Wheels in two groups? No, with their backstab. Oh, I did see that. I did see that. I did see that. I saw that. Someone posted the photo of Harry with the group of people. And then someone also, of course, posted the photo of Meghan. I saw where they combined the two photos. But yes, I did see that. But I kind of think I've seen that one before. So, yeah, I did see that. It was pretty disgusting. And I don't think I actually used that one for the slides today, but yes, I did see that one. But the Sussexes are home, and I just don't feel as depleted as I was feeling for the past few days. So um, I guess I could quote what was it, the guy from Jamaica? We're moving on. We're moving on. Um, I think that as we get further away from that time, and I'm going to talk some more about that time later. But yeah, as we get further away from that, and you give the Sussexes a chance to get home and regroup, I think we're going to be okay. I think we're going to be fine. But thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. Okay, let me see here. Guess the buses were for the other Commonwealth countries. It harkens back to how they packed the slaves in boats and to take them to their plantations to work for free. Sickening. Yeah, it is. It is. And that so many of them capitulated and gave in to their the British government, and I'm sure they had what they considered a good explanation for that. And it just, whatever their intentions were, having like a mass leadership of one continent on a couple of buses is just not smart as far as I'm concerned. It to me right there, that was just a true I guess it left so much leadership vulnerable. So I didn't like that part of it. Joe Biden uh, used, of course, his motorcade, which is not just a motorcade, it is a mobile command center. And, people made this big deal about Joe Biden not sitting in the front and he was so far back. It wasn't a production of Les Mis. This was the president of the United States who likely had a crew of Secret Service agents seated around him or in very close proximity, and also uh, closer to the exit than at the center of the building. Seemed like the smart way to go as far as I'm concerned. So, that thing that Trump was saying, oh, if I was still president, there's no way I would have set 18 rows back. Well, you know, I question the wisdom of going in the first place, not just for Joe Biden, but for many of the leaders of the world. We only just got out of a global pandemic. And as you guys know, the Queen of Denmark, or is it the Netherlands? No, Denmark. The Queen of Denmark was stricken with the pandemic again. So I question the wisdom of showing up in the first place. So, oh, you know what? Let me make sure. I did something to my computer yesterday. So let me make sure. Okay, I think the mic is on. I'm using my desktop mic. Let me see. Okay, it looks like it is working. Because yesterday I put in some RAM, which I think is like, well, anyway, the RAM helps to speed up the computer. And so I had these two circuit cards and I put those in yesterday. And it seems to have made a huge difference, but I had to unplug the mic to do it. So just making sure that it's still working. And I guess I sound okay to you guys. So I'm going to continue. But yeah, I just want to make sure that. So thank you for your comment, Beats and Pow. Um, that makes a lot of sense. And yes, it is very jarring to look at that. Let me see. Angela One Love says they were packed in like sardines. Respect to the Ethiopian prime minister and other leaders had no backbone. Yes, the other leaders seem to have lacked a bit of backbone. They could have just not gone. It was no reason in the world why you just had to be there. If you need to go to the Queen's funeral to uplift your profile or to show that you have some kind of presence on the global stage, then maybe you should consider another job or something like that. Trudeau is a trooper and a great guy and was in solidarity with the other dignitaries who were less influential. Also, did he take the bus just to show solidarity for them? That's good if he did. And Baron, she is a woman of color. I hope that she reaches out to the Duchess, Meghan, in solidarity and only shows the world globally how delusional that family is. Did they show whites on buses on the bus? No, I didn't see any. I did not see any. Now it looked like I thought I saw um, Macron board the bus to say hi to people or something like that, but I don't think he actually rode on the bus. I think that was one of those things that was just not negotiable. Is that the idea that Macron was going to ride a bus or anything like that? I think anybody representing a nuclear power um, should never have boarded a bus. So I think most of the people who did board the bus, if not all of them, were not in the nuclear club. So, right there, that should have been a big no. So, yeah. Okay. Thank you for your comment. Okay. I hope Harry is done with Trashy Family because Harry and Meghan are out their are out their league and have better grace than the royal family. The royal family is just trash that needs to be taken to the garbage. Thank you, Phyllis Johnson. Okay, so here's something you should know. Oh, you know what? Oh, that's what I needed to do. I need to brighten my screen up again. I literally had to turn the computer off and unplug it yesterday. So let me just make sure I got my adjustments right. Do apologize for that. Okay, the Queen and Philip bowing before Emperor Haile Selassie the First, the of let me see, Ethiopian, and his wife Empress Menin Asfu. They are the only people they have ever bowed to as a royal couple. Now, of course, I'm loving this photo. And this was, of course, at a time when the queen was quite young and new to the throne. But it is said that they bowed for the emperor and empress of Ethiopia. Now, of course, I actually did some research on this photograph, and it turns out that they would like for us to believe that it is not the Queen and Philip, although I wonder who it could have possibly have been. But they were saying that the photographer did not caption the photo at the time or whatever. So I'm thinking this was supposed to be around 1955. And anyway, they upon a visit to Ethiopia, they bowed for the emperor and empress. And this is one of those photos that kind of sets people back, but I don't know why they wouldn't have. I mean, after all, uh, it's not as though the queen has never bowed at all, but it was very rare that, as a matter of fact, I believe the protocol is that when the queen would meet with some other heads of state, that was well, not heads of states, but other royalty, that they would likely they were supposed to do that to each other. I think I'm not sure about that, but anyway, it was like all kind of stuff that I read about this photo. But anyway, so they just said this was like a rare occasion where the two of them have done that as a couple. So I don't know, you decide, but that is what I've seen. So anyway, the whole point of this is that Ethiopia has never been colonized, or and that they don't have that type of deference to the royal family that some other nations, for whatever reason, may have suffered from the hands of the colonizers and seem to give in to their whims. But they say that Ethiopia has just never been in that situation where they were enslaved or colonized. So it's not surprising, if you think about that. It's not surprising that she was just like, wrong day, wrong woman, wrong situation. Sorry, that's not going to happen, boo. You got the wrong head of state. I'm not getting on the bus. I'm not a child. I'm a head of state. You're not putting me on a bus. Sorry. I got a embassy of my own. I have all the protocols necessary. You're not putting me on the bus. I want the same level of respect that you've given to other people. I not only is that what I want, but that's what I'm demanding. You're not putting me on the bus. That's it. I don't have to go. I love it. I just absolutely love that. Okay, so let me take a look at a couple of your comments. Miss P Talk says the networking event had this purpose, but the African continent should have took a stand, and if their protocol did not relent, they should have stayed home. Serves them right. They are too licky licky. Really? Okay, I've never heard that term, licky licky. Excuse me. Oh boy, my sinuses are bothering me today. I'm getting a little post nasal drip, I think. Hold on one second, you guys. Let me take care of that. Okay, I'm back. All right, all right, airways are open. I feel better. All right, so here it says, Ania says the Ethiopian president needs to ask for the body of colored, the body of colored prince. Oh yeah, the prince that's at the St. George Chapel, right? Allegedly died and buried in the Windsor Park. Also, she needs to ask for the gold cross stolen in Ethiopia. Oh, I didn't know about the gold cross. Now, I heard about the prince that they kept, but not about the gold cross. Yeah, so some time ago, Prince Alima Alime EU, they wanted his returns repatriated, and apparently that has fallen on deaf ears, and they have not returned this. He's a child, right? They have not returned this child's body. Okay. One leader didn't go to the funeral because he could not ride in his motorcade. He went to New York instead for a function at the UN. Well, good, good. I just, it seemed like a lot of trouble to go through just to sit through an hour ceremony. And you know what I mean? I appreciate the idea that there is a global community and you want to be represented, but they could have filled those seats with someone else. I mean, they could have invited more Middletons. And of course, the very shabby way that they treated the Crown Princess Mary of Denmark, very shabby. That was shady. And I can't help but think that that was some type of punishment for the fact that they didn't play along with the palace when Duchess Doolittle went on. Do you guys know that the Duchess of Doolittle rarely, that may have been her only trip abroad that she's taken by herself. That may have been the only one, and it's a good reason. And it was, oh my goodness, that trip was a disaster. It was a disaster. All she did was a bunch of posing and smiling and grinning, and you couldn't ask her any questions or anything like that. It was just a disaster. It was just a disaster. They could have taken a mannequin and it would have been more engaging than having her there. Did I just say mannequin? I did say that, didn't I? They could have just taken a mannequin and it would have been more engaging. Like, oh, there it is. They could have taken a mannequin. They could have taken a mannequin and it would have been more engaging than having the Duchess of Doolittle there. Okay, so let me move on. Okay, oh wow, a lot of comments. Audrey Teschner, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And happy Friday to you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, so then you have here, of course, it should come to no surprise to anyone that the Queen would have actually bowed before the Black King of Ethiopia. I mean, she's danced with a black man. Yeah, so it's not as though why would she be above bowing to a black king? She has danced with a black man. I think they were doing a foxtrot. I mean, look at how happy she is. She is totally unfazed by the fact that she's dancing with a black man. That's all. She's dancing with a black man who happens to be a head of state in Africa. Everybody's having a good time. Why make it weird? You know what I'm saying? Why make something like this weird? She's having a good time. She's wearing her jewels, all her diamonds from nefarious sources and everything. And she's having a good time. And people just seem to think that because she's the queen, that for whatever reason, that any type of consideration of someone black is somehow, you know what I mean? Like it's some type of issue or something like that. Let me see. Black Queen says, "Vera, remember when Mumbles went out in the woods, fake chopped some wood, found those black babies who thought she was weird as she slid down? Yeah, she was. That was in Denmark. That was in Denmark. That very bizarre trip to Denmark where nobody was allowed to ask any questions. And unfortunately, nobody airbrushed the photos for their media as they would have in the UK. Now we see why she doesn't make those solo trips. So yeah, you guys, I think that sometimes the Windsors are given a bum rap when it comes to black people. People think that there's some type of hang up with black people, and I can prove it to you guys. Check this out. I mean, after all, the Queen did get involved with Black Lives Matter. That Uncle Ben guy that works for her, he even said that the Queen once had a conversation with him about Black Lives Matter. So that means she couldn't possibly um, be against Black Lives Matter. She's dressed up in kente cloth. Remember that? So, um, this idea that there's any type of adverse reaction to anything and everything black is probably not true. I mean, they have that ruby from the Black Prince. They have a Black Prince ruby in the crown, right? And then check this out. William once slept rough with a black man. Now, if William once slept rough with a black man, surely you guys have gotten it wrong, right? William proved that he's not racist. My friend Prince William is no racist. Prince William reminds us that he once slept rough with a black man, and that should prove he's not a racist. Saeed Obukun um, has known Prince William for more than 10 years and once slept rough with him. He speaks about their enduring friendship. So there you have it. And then let's not forget that at one point, the Cambridges, as they were at the time, were seen being photographed with a bonnet and a do rag, right? So, if anything proves that they are not adverse to any and everything black, I think you guys may actually have gotten it wrong. And then, of course, Martin Luther Cambridge. Let's not forget Martin Luther Cambridge. Now, um, Dr. Shola Dr. Scholler said that Prince William wears casual racism like he does the receding hairline visibly. It's time to call him out on racism, from Meghan Markle to his recent war is alien in Europe comment. He has a case to answer. Uh, and of course, that is from Dr. Scholler. So Dr. Scholler is making sure that they stay on track. So where they have become a bit careless, Dr. Scholler has, of course, called them out. But it's not too often that she has to do that because, you know, that's Martin Luther Cambridge. And of course, when it comes to black people, he literally get carried away. I mean, look at there. He's not opposed to having black people carry him along. And it also helps the environment. You see there? Not only is he helping to employ black people, but he's also helping the environment because he has allowed them to carry him through this tropical paradise. Not just him, of course, but Duchess Doolittle too. So um, that's why I say it should not come to anybody's surprise that the queen may have bowed in front of a black king, because there has been many incidents over time with that family involving black people, as we are all quite aware. Where's Connie Balmer? I haven't seen Connie yet. And of course, let's not forget his fixation with a black woman, a woman of color, a woman with black ancestry. He seems to can't stop thinking about black people. It is very obvious that William is fixated on black people. He once slept rough with a black man. He's been carried around by black people. As a matter of fact, he seems to be fixated on his brother's biracial wife in some weird, kind of disturbing way that we haven't figured out yet, right? That is good. So, and then, of course, let us not forget when he gave that speech in front of all those black people, his I Had a Scheme speech. Remember that? That beautiful, sweeping oratory, his I Had a Scheme speech by Martin Luther Cambridge, the Duke of Windrush. Oh, you guys remember the Duke of Windrush, right? He had that I Had a Scheme speech. So, you guys who seem to think that there is some deficit where people of color are concerned, I think you need to go back and do your research. Now, and then, of course, William's affection and concern about people of color is so great. he literally keeps count. He keeps count of how many black people there are. I remember when he said, Prince William says, human population growth in Africa is harming wildlife. The growth in human population presents a huge challenge for conservationists in Africa, the Duke said. So, this is why I say, you guys, do your research. Don't just go by what I said. You can see right here, William is literally kept up at night counting how many black people there are in Africa. There's not many people who would do that, but he has. You know, he's gone through the trouble. He can't sleep at night. He has literally been counting how many black people there are. Some people count sheep so that they can go to sleep. He counts black people, lots of black people. Let me see. Coco Ambrose says the Ethiopian leader was an emperor. Emperors are ranked higher than kings and queens. So it is, I'm sorry, it was in order for Queen Elizabeth II to bow to the Ethiopian emperor. Thank you, Coco Ambrose. As a matter of fact, I thought I saw that somewhere, and you are absolutely right, because he was an emperor and she was merely just a queen. It was necessary for her to bow to him. The queen was all about protocol. That's what people have said about her. If there was anything good that you could say about Betty, and that, of course, is protocol. If she travels, whatever you fix, she'll eat it. Whatever the activity, she'll do it. I mean, that's, she was a trooper like that. So thank you so much for that very wise conclusion. All right. So, and then let us not forget the ease in which William has always embraced black people. I mean, you can see right there. Look at how relaxed he is. Look at his relaxed disposition as he embraces that black man. See there? He can sleep rough with them, he can cuddle them. He is no stranger to black people. As a matter of fact, I insist he loves black people. Obviously, he does, because, I mean, look at that relaxed look he has on his face. I mean, nothing stands out about that photo. He's not cringing or anything. He's very relaxed and comfortable embracing um, this man who obviously has lots of melanin. He's all right with it. So let me see. Black Queen says these white folks act as if they invented kings and queens. I have to bring them back to reality and let them know there were emperors, kings, and queens in Africa long before they emerged from caves. That is true. There was a long period of time when most of Europe was a bunch of pagan tribes that were running around in loincloths, and in Africa and the Middle East, you had science, you had civilization, and of course, like for instance, I give you a good case in point, Black Queen. When they found those bronze artworks, well, not artworks, but ceremonial pieces, as they are truly, when they found those Benin bronzes, they um, they thought that it was impossible that this civilization could have created anything so lifelike and so beautiful and sculptural like that. They thought surely they tried to explain it away that some Europeans had obviously visited there first and taught them how to create a likeness of themselves. Now, how improbable is that some white like adventurers had traveled to the kingdom of Benin and taught them how to create a likeness of themselves, taught them how to forge materials that had been there before there was even life. You know, that's how ridiculous it was. They were like, how could they have made something? I saw this report about that. How could they have made something so elegant and advanced? As a matter of fact, it's so beautiful. I think we'll take it with us. That's how much they enjoyed it. They took it. They literally cataloged and took all of the bronze they could find. And so now the argument is those materials are much safer in a museum in London than it would be if we left it to them. The thing is, it was safe before you stole. That's what gets me. It was okay before you stole it. You have just demonstrated that it wasn't safe because you took it. But before you took it, for however many hundreds of thousands of years, it was perfectly fine before you took it. But after you took it, okay, yeah, you got a point. It's not safe. Yeah, it's not safe from you. So, yeah, go figure. Now we know it's not safe because at the point of a gun, you took it. So, yeah, no, it's not safe. But anyway, thank you for your comment, Black Queen. Let me see here. And of course, William has been known to indulge in eating a little pie, a little humble pie, whether it's baked from Minnie or whatever source. He will indulge in humble pie. So, you guys, I think that I, have unwillingly been able to shed light on the commitment of the royal family where people of color are concerned. You're welcome. But yeah, so there's just a few things that maybe you didn't know, and I have been able to bring it to the fore. But I just believe in the truth wherever you find it. So that was obviously the queen showing deference to the emperor of Ethiopia. And even though there are some people who are trying to downplay it, like, oh, why would our queen bow to a black man? Well, she danced with one, right? And she was good friends with Nelson Mandela, right? As well as the fact William once slept rough with a black man. It just goes to prove that the Windsors are willing to take one for the team. Speaking of black people, as you know, William even gave half the Commonwealth back. Do you guys remember that? William gave back half the Commonwealth. He did. Yeah, so no one can say that the commitment to black people is not there. You know, in some kind of odd, sarcastic way, that commitment is there. And of course, William even tried to settle reparations. Do you guys remember that? William even was encouraged to settle reparations, and he promised that he would look into it. He did, remember?
Prince, Trenchtown wants $245 billion. That's what Trenchtown wants. $345 billion. Yes, thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what Trenchtown wants. Yes. What do you mean?
Yeah, so he's trying to get Trenchtown that $345 billion. Oh. So, oh, by the way, thank you for the PayPal I just received. I won't say the name, but the initials are MS. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Friday to you. Thank you very much for that. So, yes, you guys, I just want to show you that there's a, and oh, and don't forget, you guys, William did marry someone who used to roll out of those black cabs. Remember that? What about that girl he married that used to ride around in black cabs? See there? Now that is commitment. He slept rough with a black man. Black people have carried him around so that he can, provide employment. And he married a woman who used to roll out of black cabs all over central London, right? In Soho, rolling out the black cabs. Uh, Mayfair, black cabs. That is his commitment. That shows that family's commitment to all things black. So this is yet another indication. Oh man. I will find any excuse to work these pictures into it, don't you? But yes, he he married somebody who was no stranger to the back of the black cab. It was not unusual for her to just roll out onto the ground, completely inebriated from those adventures in the black cab. So the one on my right is, I mean, on the right there, that's my favorite. It just reminds me of like a cat. Oh man. So anyway, you guys, that's that for the Windsor commitment to all things ebony. Moving on. Where are we at? Here we go. Oh, where's my move on? Prince Harry's snub dinner with Charles and William after Meghan was banned from joining family on day the Queen died. Now, you guys, I have to say this. I have to say this. Why? Okay, I understand why, but they do know the very touchy relationship, the very strained relations that you might feel losing your grandma. And of course, you have already lost your mother. And somehow, the woman who, should not even be part of the family is suddenly your stepmother. I think with the very stressful thing that Harry was going through, the last thing I want to do is sit there with my stepmother and with my brother who has dubbed my mother paranoid and delusional. Does that make sense? Why would they act like it's so abnormal that on the day, and that is saying that this even happened at all, because we don't know. We only know what has been briefed and leaked. But Harry objecting to sitting across the table from, of all people that is, Camilla Parker Bowles. I wouldn't want to do that if I was in his place. Now, Harry has played along and has shown her much respect in public, as he possibly could do without barfing. But the idea that I have to sit there while you and my brother are plotting and scheming, and you got this person at the table too? No, I don't want to break bread with you. So if that did happen, I could totally understand why Harry would be opposed to sitting across the table from the likes of Camilla. They have tried so desperately to try to normalize Camilla's role in that family. They have somehow coerced the queen into calling her the consort, the future consort, before she died. But you're asking too much. You're asking too much. You're assuming too much and you're asking too much. You're asking Harry to be a part of normalizing the relationship with someone who was brought into the family because of an adulterous affair, someone who should exclude you from being the head of the church. I mean, it's not enough that he was divorced. That's not the big problem, but that he's the head of the church and he is also a confirmed adulterer. Whether Princess Diana was dipping out or not, whether she was the one who had an affair first or not, you are the future head of the church. You are supposed to be the very moral backbone of the country. So, whether or not Princess Diana has been found wanting in her character or not, whether she had become so lonely from the fact that she married somebody who never loved her in the first place, that is not the question. Princess Diana was not destined to be the head of the church. Prince Charles, now King Charles III, was destined to be the head of the church. And he is enjoying the fruits of a relationship that was born out of an adulterous affair. I don't even have to say allegedly, whatever allegedly is. No, because that's a fact. Everybody knows it. Everybody who's anybody knows that that's exactly the order of things, is that he was supposed to have become the head of the church, and somewhere along the way he found his mistress to bring into his role as king, and Harry is supposed to celebrate that. And of course, Harry and Meghan are the only ones who could have ever possibly have caused anguish for the queen, not her son with his adulterous affair with Camilla Parker Bowles. Not, of course, the fact that her other son has caused embarrassment by her having to pay out money in some lawsuit or something like that. No, none of that took a toll on her. None of the possibility that maybe Philip has even started a family somewhere, possibly, allegedly, whatever. We can't know because the will is not open to the public. Maybe that caused some kind of stress. Who knows? Or maybe she was 96 years old and it was just time to go. But no, none of those things will do if you can blame Harry and Meghan. If you can get clickbait because of Harry and Meghan, that all of a sudden justifies everything. And so Harry is supposed to throw away whatever he's feeling in that moment and sit across the table from Camilla on the day that his grandmother died, knowing whatever he knows about how his grandmother felt about Camilla, how his grandmother suffered because of Camilla. Do you guys know that the Queen refused to attend any event where Camilla Parker Bowles was known to be in the room? She just would not do it. And finally, when they had a party for the exiled king of Greece, a cousin of the Queen, the what is it, uncle or nephew or whatever he was, a cousin of Philip, Prince Philip of Greece and Denmark, when they finally were able to be in the same room together, is because Charles somehow coerced his cousin, uncle, or whatever he was, the exiled king of Denmark, to throw this event. And Camilla Parker Bowles was finally in the same setting as the queen. But the queen rejected her for years, and there was no way that Charles could bring her around. But eventually, Charles eroded that wall of discontent from the queen and from anybody who had any kind of respect for the queen, and eventually was able to drag that creature into everybody's life. And that is the person that they're criticizing Harry from not sitting across on the day when his grandmother died. I think it's outrageous and it is gaslighting. They're trying to make it out that this relationship between Charles and Camilla has just obviously evolved from some kind of puppy love. No, there was a lot of scheming and planning and working against Diana, amongst other people, to make that position of Camilla's possible. Harry has no place to be sitting across from her. He's independently wealthy. He's living in another country. That what's in it for him? Why would he do that? And even if that wasn't the case, no, I don't want to do it. You caused terrible harm to my mother and to my grandmother. Why would I sit across the table from you? Arlene Burrows says Harry lost his mother, lost his grandmother. He's going to hold on to Meghan tight. Absolutely. Ray Raquel says, Baron, I find it difficult to believe this is true. It sounds like another story similar to only Harry didn't make it because the Queen had died. Exactly. This is yet, and that's why I said we don't even know if this is true. We don't even know if this is true. But if this is their ploy to try to make Harry look bad, I don't understand how that's supposed to work. This is his father's mistress from an adulterous affair that is now the queen consort, and his father is the head of the church. Who looks bad in this situation? But then again, they have been effectively gaslighting the entire population into accepting her. Baron Page 6 is claiming that Harry didn't get the news of the Queen's death from any of them, that he learned about her death through the media. Okay, yet another version of the story. Yet another version of the story. He found out on the plane. He found out from the media. He found out when his father called him. It is very fluid the way that they're telling this story. And I think it's just clickbait. I don't even know that this even happened. I just find it hard to believe that they would expect Harry to sit across the table from Camilla and his brother, considering everything that happened. For what? What would be the point of it? What would be the point of it? It just doesn't make sense to me. And and you know that that Charles and Camilla could easily go to another place and sit down and eat, considering everything just happened. That wouldn't surprise me because those are two very cold individuals. So that wouldn't surprise me so much. Thank you for your comment. Let me see. I don't believe the hype about Seabiscuit. The average British person hates her. My friends in London told me that nobody believes the hype about that home wrecker. Diana is still very much loved. Thank you, Francia Mosley. I said it just didn't make sense. It just didn't make sense that they would try to create this type of sympathy, like Harry is rejecting her and rejecting Charles. Why would he want to sit with them in the first place? Why would they even invite him? Let me see. Prince Harry back home. I was so nervous when I saw Meghan was left alone for those with these three facelifted. Thank you for your comment. Let me see here. It none of it made sense to me. That's why I say we don't even know that anything like this happened. It's just even after everything is over with, they still are making up stuff as they go along. Whatever and I don't. What are they so afraid of that they keep creating storylines? What is making them so nervous? Is this because they want to try to downplay this idea that they were so abusive to the Sussexes for what was it, 10 days, 11, 12 days? Is that what this is about? So that they can downplay the abuse that was lobbed at the Sussexes at every turn? Hello, Miss VSN. Thank you for being here. Let me see. Harry was dressed in a black suit. They all knew. Miss VSN, now that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. Harry went through the trouble of grabbing his black suit, so obvious that he was not going to get there and find the Queen alive. That makes so much sense. Yeah, he was in the Range Rover. He was in his black suit, I believe. Wow, thank you, Miss BSN. That makes a lot of sense. Furious Prince Harry snubbed dinner with King Charles III and William at Balmoral after monarch banned Meghan from joining the royal family at Scottish estate on the day the Queen died. Now, uh, apparently, Charles has another home near the Balmoral Castle, and I don't think that has anything to do with the Dumfries house. I think there's another separate home that is on the estate that belongs to Charles. So that is where the dinner was supposed to take place, not actually in the Balmoral Castle itself. So Prince Charles refused to have dinner. Prince Harry refused to have dinner with his father, Charles, and brother William on the day the Queen died. It is claimed he was furious after his wife Meghan was banned from coming to Balmoral by the new king. Okay, now if there was such an invitation, and if I'm throwing ifs out there, if Charles had banned Meghan from coming, okay, so what? So what? He should be furious. He should. You would have Ford Fiesta there as though she's some kind of surgeon or doctor or something like that. But Meghan is excluded. If that were the case, then yes, of course he should be furious. He should. Benny Blair says the Ethiopian throne is directly descended from the throne of David and King Solomon. Lizzie would know that Haile Selassie is descended from the tribe of Judah, plus emperors are higher than kings. Thank you, Benny Blair. I appreciate that. Yes, based on his lineage, um, I think that would make sense that she was curtsy, not just bow, but curtsy in front of the emperor of Ethiopia. As a matter of fact, aren't the Ethiopians the original Jews? Isn't that what they say? That the original Jews were Ethiopian? Okay, and then more fluff. Solo flight. Prince Harry told to take his own way to Scotland. Make his own way to Scotland instead of being welcomed on RAF plane with brother William. So yet another version of the story. A source said that Charles told Harry that it wasn't right or appropriate for Meghan to be in Balmoral on such a deeply sad time. At such a deeply sad time. It was pointed out to him that Kate was not going and that the numbers should be limited to very closest family. Charles, the servants were there. The servants were there. There were cars and trucks in and out of that place. What difference does it make? Charles made it very clear Meghan would not be welcome. Out of favor, Prince Harry was refused a seat on the RAF plane. So you refused him a seat on the plane, but you invited him to eat a meal with you. See how inconsistent that is? He's not relevant enough to enjoy a meal with you and your cohort, but you would. He wasn't relevant enough to be on the plane, but you would invite him for a meal. None of this makes sense. A source said Harry was so busy trying to get Meghan to Balmoral and rowing with his family that he missed the flight. Oh, so first he was banned from the flight. Now he missed the flight. Yes, RAF. I believe that was a Royal Air Force flight and Royal Air Force Base. So let me get this straight. Oh, my head is spinning. First, nobody told him at the Balmoral, I mean at the um what is it? The Windsor Castle Estate, Great Windsor Park. Everybody lives in the area, but nobody told him. Okay, that might be true. And then they told him that they were going on a flight, but you couldn't come. He was banned from the flight. Find your own way. Then he was told by Prince Charles that you can't bring your wife. Yes, I know Ford Fiesta, but you can't bring your wife. Um, so so no. So apparently Harry was allegedly, supposedly trying to argue about that, right? Anyway, I'm not going to go through all of these scenarios, but you guys know that one story contradicts the other. But the briefing hasn't stopped since the Queen took her last breath. Clear divide. How Harry ate separately in a different house from Charles, William, and Camilla on the night of the Queen's death. So that's all I have to say. So, and then what happened? Who cares? Whether he did or did not, and I hope he did not sit across the table, his stomach already in knots because he lost his grandmother, but the I guess humiliation added to all of that with the fact that he would have to sit across the woman whose presence may have been the reason why his mother wasn't there. I mean, let's face it, but for the fact of Camilla, things may have turned out differently, right? Right. So, if that is the case, and the possibility, but for the fact of Camilla, things may have turned out differently. No, I do not want to sit across the table from Camilla. And that's the end of it. Why would he want to? That's why none of this makes sense. You would think that considering everything that happened, I mean, what could the meal have entailed other than a bunch of plotting and scheming? And if that's the case, Harry would not be welcome to sit there with them in the first place because they got too much Game of Thrones stuff to do. So, yeah, just none of this makes sense. Everything just seems to contradict. Have a super chat from Josie. It says, Baron, the truth is the fake stories have to happen because without Sussexes or late Elizabeth, the dried, you know what, monstrous, no interest globally. That is true, Josie. That is true. Clickbait, clickbait, clickbait. This is all a matter of clickbait. Thank you so much for your comment. Leg says, what happened to the media? Has Chuck's PR guru trying to make it look like Charles is a doting father that is a strong king yet compassionate somehow? Why does this sound like Trump's White House? Um, how many times have they tried to use Harry to make Charles look like he's a good father? Like that whole thing about Harry going into rehab and doing community service and his father, as if Charles had actually taken an interest in anything to do with Harry at that point. But of course, they created this whole thing that made him look like the doting father so that it would be acceptable, so that people would accept his stepmother. All of that had to do with Camilla. All of these things are a way of selling Camilla. So to make Camilla seem as though she was some type of victim who was rejected by Harry helps to bolster her image because after all, she's just the peacemaker that wants everybody to get along, right? Right. So yeah, that's what makes sense to me is that somehow they're trying to pass off or trying to portray Camilla as meaning well, but yet somehow she's a victim of Harry's pouting and his rudeness and all that kind of stuff. So that if but for Harry, everybody could come together. but Harry won't come together with them because of Meghan. It's all just this one long thread of storyline that is to uplift and elevate the rest of the family and to try to make the Sussexes look bad. But they keep trying. They if this doesn't work, let's try that. If that doesn't work, let's try this. And they haven't stopped yet. Oh my God, I'm just sick of it. Do you hear me? Sick. I'm just sick of it. I have grown fatigued with the whole thing. Um I think the only way to tamp down this um nonsense is for another one of those, and unless Charles is feeling under the weather, I think that that momentum that we had in Dusseldorf, I think that momentum is one of the reasons why this is happening is because the Sussexes were given the red carpet treatment by Germany. Germany used government funds for government planes to take them here, there, and everywhere, doing everything they could to see to their comfort and treating them as though as they would, I should say, any head of state. That's exactly what they did. And that bothered the royal family. That bothered them. So this is just a way of trying to shrink them. They're trying to shrink them down. So um, it's a temporary measure. Also, the other thing is it makes it appear as though Charles has done everything to make peace with Harry before that book comes out. Don't forget the book. Charles has done everything to try to prevent. The book is already done. The book is coming. There's no doubt that the book is coming. The book is a done deal. But they still have to try to make it seem like if only Harry would have taken the olive branch extended to him by Charles, then this whole dreaded book and all these interviews and stuff could go away. It would stop happening. I think that's what's going on here. Lex, thank you so much for the super chat, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Let me see here. Black Queen says the Unroyal Trash Media family and their demon cohorts can have each other and eat each other alive. I had to make sure I looked at that. And just leave Harry and Meghan's name out of their stiff upper, nasty, crusty lips. Exactly. Just leave Harry and Meghan alone. Do what you all got to do and just leave them alone. I don't want to be bothered with them, but I feel a need to brief against them because they keep briefing against the Sussexes. The same story keeps getting spin, to keep the narrative going about Meghan. Why the story is now a week and a half going. Keep the narrative going. Just Joyce Falls. Exactly. This is old now. It's old. You should be what they should be talking about right now. Thank you, Church Nelly. What they should be talking about right now is what is Charles gonna do as the newly minted king? How come oh, let me get this thing off the screen. How come they're not talking about what Charles is going to do as king? Charles is the king. He's got king stuff to do. Why are they fixated on the Sussexes when they could talk about all of these important things that Charles is going to do now that he's been given, his flowers, his comeuppance? That's what they should talk about. Not Meghan, not Harry. Charles is king now. Okay, I want to share something with you, but you know what I'm going to have to do? I got to open up another screen. Give me a moment here. Uh, okay. Let me see if that works now. There's got to be a better way to do this. Let me see. Okay. Try that. Okay, that didn't work. All right, so I'm going to close this one. Get rid of that. And I am back. I am back. Okay, so now maybe they should try this. Maybe they should try this. Remember when poor, sympathetic, benevolent, loving Camilla went to that women's shelter? You know, the one where they are supposed to help women who have suffered from domestic violence. In other words, abused women. And she started pecking up her lips, you know, so she could try to make herself cry, even though this is the woman who made Princess Diana's life a living hell on earth. How what do they call it? The very height of hypocrisy. You and Charles made Diana's life a living hell on earth. All of the conspiring and taking away her security and having staff to spy upon her and such. And you want to try to pass yourself off as June Cleaver? This is the June Cleaver 2.0? I don't think so. But she's trying to pass herself off as June Cleaver. Oh, Lydia Avekas, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Friday to you. And Gail Tepscott, thank you for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Friday to you, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. I really, really appreciate it. And Crystal J has a super chat. Oh my God, Baron, you are flying. 25,000 subbies. Congratulations. Stay blessed. Thank you, Crystal J. I know 25,000 subscribers and over 10 million. No, is it a 10 or 11 million views? Over 11 million views. I think it's 11. But anyway, thank you so much, Crystal J. And thank you for being here. I really appreciate you being here. And thank you for helping me celebrate that milestone of a quarter of 100,000. A fraction of a million. Oh man, but thank you so much. I appreciate it. Oh man, 100,000. If I get to 100,000, I get that silver button from YouTube. So I want that silver button so bad. But yes, thank you all for acknowledging that. B10 Pal says the night before Charles got married to Diana, that immoral woman Camilla, slipped into the royal train to steal some terrible person. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Let me see here. Let me get back over here. So I had to go. Where did I leave off? Oh, sorry, you guys. Let me take that away while I go through these. Anyway, thank you for your comment, B10. Was I here? Nope. I had got past all that. Nope. All right. So, all right. I think that this is where I left off. So, Prince Harry was banned from family dinner hour. I just had to drop my head down for a second. Prince Harry was banned from family dinner hours after the Queen died over fears he would blab about it in his fourth. Oh man. I'm sorry. My head just dropped down when I saw that. I forgot about this one. Oh, oh man. If nothing else, you have to say they are tenacious. They are relentless with lies and hypocrisy. Yeah, this is the one that got me was he was banned for the book is written. The, the book is written. It's done. The book is done. There's nothing else to do. The lawyers have gone through the book. Harry has a multiple book deal. Whatever is left on the floor, whatever he left on the dance floor, is going to go into the next book. And they know that. There's going to be another book. So this book is going to talk about Harry's life. It is not going to talk about silky chickens. It's not going to talk about, well, it will, be whatever his experience were with those people. But that's it. It's not a book about those people. It's a book about Harry, how he became the man that he has become. Thank you, Pam Porter. Okay, John Newbold says, "Hi, y'all. Charles is talking about opening Balmoral as a museum to QE2, so charging people to go in and view his mother's things, merchandising again. Yeah, and you know what, John Newbold? If they give that money to the community, I'm all for it. If that money doesn't find its way to the coffers of the royal family, if they could actually help some of those impoverished areas in Scotland and bring some jobs, good idea. But if it's just to buy more things and pay off more people, then I don't like it. And for that matter, I believe Charles said that he didn't plan to live in Buckingham Palace, but that the palace would go to use for ceremonial events. And eventually, who knows, people may be able to have their weddings at Buckingham Palace. May as well. May as well. It doesn't take anything away from Versailles. And trust me, Buckingham Palace is no Versailles, but it doesn't take anything away from Versailles that people actually use it for many different things. You could even stay at the Palace of Versailles. You can have a business address at the Palace of Versailles. It is used for several things. There's even a theater at Palace of Versailles. So there's so many different things so many possibilities. I think it just makes sense. I'm going to say this much. Charles is a buffoon, a bumbling buffoon. But if if he can do some of the more positive things without targeting the Sussexes, if he can do some of those things, that would be good for his image and it'd be good for everybody involved. If he can leave the Sussexes alone and, yes, open up some of those spaces, make them more available to the public, get some use out of those relics, out of those homes that, they got too many homes that you couldn't even live in all of them. Have a couple of free days for people that are local, so that citizens could actually enjoy these places for free, seeing that the train and other transportation is so expensive. Yes, open that stuff up to the public. Do it. I think it'd be a good idea. Now, Balmoral is not easy to get to, but they do have those excursion buses that could take them out there, the coach buses. So, yeah, I say do it. That's a good idea. Let me see. What kind of Christian faith do they really use? Because grace was to be in the family to all. So, what religious teaching of faith was going on during the African colonization? Well, Sandra, I have to tell you, I think that what's his name? Bishop Desmond Tutu put it best. He said when the British first arrived, or did he say when white people first came to South Africa, we had the land and they had Bibles. And then they told us, they say, close your eyes and let us all pray. And when we opened up our eyes, they had the land and we had the Bible. Oh my God. Desmond Tutu, he should have had like a stand up comedian career. God, I thought that was so funny. But yeah, I thought that was hilarious. But it is sad. It is very poignant and all that kind of stuff. It was very sad that, those things happen. But in some respects, it is quite true. We literally closed our eyes, and when we opened our eyes again, that's what was left. They took everything. So, um, oh, I got something I'm going to share with you guys. Speaking of Betty, I got something I'll share with you. Let me move this over here, and then I'll try to share it with you guys. Uh, okay. Okay. Got it, got it, got it. Okay. All right. All right. So, got that. That is done. All right. More comments. Well, let me take this away first. I need to scroll because I'm sure I am very, very far behind. Thank you all 1,598 of you for being here. You know what, guys? I don't know what happened to yesterday's Royal Sussex, but did you see how many views there were? I'm like, where did all those people come from? It must have been like a lot of new people. And if you are new and you're unable to comment, don't worry, there's a delay on it for like 2 weeks back. So if you are a new subscriber, give it like 2 weeks time or less, depending on when you subscribed, and you'll be able to partake in the comments. So yeah, just please be patient with us. Lydia Barber says Camilla has no conscience, none, not even 1%. If she has, she should always have a stabbing feel on her body, seeing William and Harry turning against each other. If Diana was not killed, it wouldn't have happened. Lydia, that is so true. That is so true. There is so many scenarios that likely would not have played out in these last 25 years, but for the fact of Camilla. It's just true. And you know what? Let us not even hesitate to say that, because they blame Harry and Meghan for everything. Everything. If the train is running late, it was Harry and Meghan. So Princess Diana is not here, and there's a better chance that we are correct as opposed to them blaming Harry and Meghan for a landslide or for an earthquake or drought. You know what I'm saying? There's a better chance that we're right in comparison to the rest of those scenarios that they have made up. But for the fact that Camilla has been a part of this story, that somehow between Charles and Camilla, they have inserted her in the lives of Harry and William. This rift, as they call it, would not exist. It's just that simple. And I think that our side of the story, that our version of events is just as plausible and should be just as acceptable as any other, because when you think about it, uh, we can have our opinions and we can refer to those opinions. As a matter of fact, uh, we don't even have to say sources say, because we've watched it play out. We don't even have to say a palace source, because we've watched it. It has played out. It is confirmed. It is true that so many of these different things that have occurred, but for the fact, as you know, there is what they call tort law, and it's based on British law. Tort law is but for the fact. So, but for the fact of Camilla, then we would probably see a Harry and William that look very different from what we're seeing today, but for Camilla, right? And I think that the evidence speaks clearly, but for Camilla. So, yep, thank you for that, Lydia Barber. That is great insight, and I do appreciate it. And thank you for being here. So, okay, let me do this. Let me do this. Well, so much for putting in some new circuit boards in my computer. It's you know what, it is faster, but it's just some of the problems I was hoping it would solve, it did not. Still glitchy here and there. John Newbold, thank you so much for that, and thank you for being a constant supporter of Royal Sussex. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here, and happy Friday to you. Thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Okay, Baron, you truly are an angel in human form. I thank you so much for all that you are doing in support of the Sussexes, for easing my heart, and for all of my squatty family. God bless you all. Thank you, Lynette Roberts. Thank you, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. I was not matter of fact. You know what? Let me do this. Joan Garcia, didn't you just say the other day, right now, we really need to lean on each other? Isn't that what you just said? And that's what it comes down to. Joan Garcia said, in so many words, that right now we need each other. And it was because of what the Sussexes were going through. So thank you, Joan Garcia. That was true the other day, and it continues to be true now. It was true a month ago. Joan says here, Baron, the best thing about these stories, true or not, is the world gets to see how hateful the British royal family and mouthpieces are to Harry and Meghan. Yes, it has been put on full display. It has it has trended, or has been trending like crazy. So thank goodness for that, because it's as though they have told the story for us. Everything that we have been pushing out there and pushing against the tabloid media, and even some of the mainstream media, as well as the royal family, has put on full display everything, and I do mean everything, that we have been yelling, fighting, mentioning, texting, tweeting, uh, podcasting, all of those things. They put it right out there for us. We didn't even have to do as much work because they were doing the work for us. So, anyway, thank you so much for that comment. Let's see. Angela R., thank you so much for the super sticker. Happy Friday to you, and thank you ever so much for watching Royal Sussex. Greatly appreciate it. Let me see here. Okay, let me go on to this next one. So then he was told he would not be joining his father Charles and William and Camilla for dinner at the new king's home. Instead, he ate in the castle with Andrew. Oh my God. Yeah, it gets worse, you guys. I do apologize for this. Andrew, Princess Anne, Edward, and Sophie. A source said he could not be trusted. How could they know he won't write about it? Ah! I gotta scream. I'm so sorry. It's just so stupid. I'm like, do they hear their voice? Do they hear their own voices in their head when they take pen to paper or when they sit at their keyboards? A source said, um, I'm gonna try to say this without using any F bombs. I'm sorry, I just took deep breaths. This is just so stupid. Um whether he was there or not there, whether he saw it firsthand or not, whether he was in Timbuktu or not. What difference does it make? He could just make it up like the rest of the people. He could just make it up. That's what they do. Just make it up as you go along. You don't have to be anywhere. When it comes to this ongoing saga, all you have to say is a source. All you have to do is say a source. It doesn't even have to be true. That's what's so stupid about this. A source said he could not be trusted. How do you know he won't run? All of a sudden, Harry is some kind of roving reporter. All of a sudden, he's like some kind of sleuth that he needs to tip around these spaces that he's grown up in. He has to tip around these spaces and then all of a sudden produce a little pen and pad and then he. Why would he do that? That's so stupid. You could not make this stuff up. You could not make this stuff up. How do we know he won't write about it? Whatever he says, you're going to say he's lying. So what difference does it make? Just make it up as you go along. Matter of fact, I tell you what, you all write it for him, right? It'll be just as plausible. You just write it for him. That's all. Oh, that's so stupid. Anyway, a source said he could not. All right. Even if there is no time to update the book, he could have told Meghan and he could have told Meghan and it could have been blabbed. There was a lot of talk about it. Best to keep it to the king, queen, and heir. It's just so stupid. It's just so stupid. I can't get over how stupid it is. You guys, next time they try to tell you that that this is the most civilized class of people that have ever existed, because as you know, the aristocracy is supposed to be the most sophisticated, the most worthy, the most of all. Next time they try to convince you of that, just think about these things. Just think about any of this stuff. Oh God, just think about Charles. You would think that if you are the king, now you're the king, you're supposed to know everything. How do you keep letting people hand you an exploding pen? Not once, not twice, but what, three times he didn't had a pen explode. It took him all that time to figure out, maybe I'll bring my own pen. Oh man, maybe it's all getting to me. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just finally reached that point where I'm starting to go cuckoo. I'm just going cuckoo at this point. It's just so stupid though. You just can't get past how stupid it is. But if he's there, he might see something and then he'll write about it. As if Harry's what, 37, 38 now? I doubt if he's going to look at something and not forget what he's just seen. If he had this intention to go back and write about it, it's not like if he don't write it down in a hurry, he's going to forget what he just saw. Oh man, this is just so stupid. Let me get away from this. Um, I'll talk about this. Oh, well, there it is. I'll leave that there. Let me see here. Um, Let me see. Oh, RBDG has a super chat. He's gone from I'm sorry. He's gone from Harry Windsor to Harry Reasoner. I love it. I love it. Exactly. He's no longer Harry Windsor. He's Harry Reasoner, roving reporter, news anchor extraordinaire. Oh, these people. you have to admit, whatever they lack in integrity, they definitely make it up with creativity because they will just invent something. They can come up with more BS. I promise you, they can come up with more BS. Uh, Sonia O'Neill says, Baron, thank you for doing great coverage. Good or bad, the Sussexes are the only subject draw. Their star QE2 is gone. Exactly. Exactly. And even before that, before this hate campaign, we all know that Prince Harry was the most popular royal. They would always, put an asterisk by that and say, but the Queen is number one. But no, for a long period of time, it was just Harry. And we all know that. Yes, the Queen always maintained her popularity, but then there was also Harry. So let me get away from this because. Uh, and to think some people actually spend money to take a creative writing course, all they have to do is just look at the tabloids. That's all the creativity you need right there because they can come up with some stuff. So, KTLA anchor Mark Mester fired after emotional on air defense of Lynette Romero. Now, this has nothing to do with the Sussexes. This just has to do with a man standing up for a woman in his life. Oh, I'm sorry. That was it, just a slide. But anyway, let me just tell you the long and the short of it. She was asking for a different time slot, and they told her there was nothing available, but she had some childcare issues. Now, after 25 years, I believe it's been 25 years at that station, they fired her. But the worst part is, either she was fired or she quit. I think she quit. But they wouldn't let her say farewell to her fans. And Mark Mester was so irate about it that he gave this on air 4-minute rebuke. Actually, it was an apology. He apologized on behalf of the television station. I don't think it was a rebuke. I think it was an apology. But he was very agitated because he said they didn't just fire my colleague, they fired a friend. And he wanted to stand up for her because he thought that it was really degrading of them to just dismiss her without even giving her a chance to say farewell to her fans, as though she was just some temporary person that came to work in that television market. KTLA 5 News fired him as well. He was fired. He's received a lot of support. People have raised money for him and such, but he was standing on principle. And not only, I'm not going to just point out that he was defending a woman in his life, he was defending a woman of color in his life, which I think, really speaks volumes of how younger people see this world that we live in nowadays. I don't know anything about any of these people. I just know what I read in the article today. But he was defending her honor. He was literally defending her honor. So he decided to take a stand. Let's see here. Compton Cali Gal says Lynette Romero's daughter used to sit under her mom's desk while live on TV. Well, you know what? And that's just it. Like they said, she had some childcare issues. And she wanted to spend more time with her family. She wanted more of a normal schedule, I would suppose. But I think that's wonderful that he did that, and I think that more people need to do that. I mean, yeah, so both of them don't have jobs now, but at least he showed some backbone and he took a stand, and I really, really applaud him for that. So, um, oh yeah, second largest market in the country, right? It's got to be, if not the largest, but yeah, second largest maybe. I know in terms of metro areas, I don't know which is larger, New York or LA, because LA is huge. But yeah, that was necessary, and I'm glad he did that. 24 years. 24 years. Kizendorf said she left work there 24 years. After 24 years on the air. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? I like I say, this just gives me goosebumps. I love the fact that he stood up for her. Let me see. That's not fair. They should have worked out something. Yeah, they you know it. I you know what it is though. Sometimes, or and well, I guess you probably already know what I'm going to say. But maybe she had aged out, and that was just an excuse. You know what I mean? Restricting someone to a weekend shift, is one thing, and I don't know, maybe that's what she wanted before, but she needed something different. But sometimes when you age out of their demographic appeal or what they think that people want, then they sometimes they'll pull that stunt, and yeah. So let me see. Marina Baron squatting. Spent all day this time cracking up. Thought I had a Hello, Katerina Kemp. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being a member of Royal Sussex. And thank you for checking in on us. I appreciate that. All right. Oh, thank you, Berta Sanchez. I love stories like this. I really do. That's really touching for me. Okay, so here we go. Prince Harry will be permanently exiled by ruthless King Charles, sources say. Now, this is from the Daily Beast. I think it's Daily Beast. In other words, Prince Charles is going to pull the what is it? The Duke of Windsor. He's going to pull a Duke of Windsor on Charles, and I'm sorry, on Harry, and forbid him from entering the country. Now, I don't know how practical that is, and I'm going to tell you why. Because the Duke of Windsor received an allowance from the royal family. So I don't know that he would have ever been turned away at the airport or at the um, port of Dover or whatever. I don't know that he would have ever been turned away. However, it was true that he had to ask permission to return. Now, there's a big difference here. The Duke of Windsor was actually a sovereign himself, so I could understand that would cause some ill ease, or get people caught up in their feelings, because there were a lot of people that really supported him. But then again, at the same time, there was also an agreement that he would not return without permission. But again, his finances were tied into that family. And, he had a lot of money. He obviously had a lot of money anyway, because he had to. I only just learned this a short time ago, is that Balmoral was his personal property, and he inherited Balmoral. He literally had to sell it back to the family. And that was paid in installments along with the allowance that he had negotiated. So I would think that the reason that he would not be welcome was tied into that financial deal. Or should I say, the reason why he would have to ask permission would probably have to do with that financial deal. But I don't know that 100. I'm just saying that's a possibility. But as for Harry, who is financially independent, would those same rules apply? Charles can do a lot of things, but the idea of banning his child from coming to the country, I think that Harry would have to have committed some great offense greater than appearing on an Oprah interview or writing a book of some sort, because whatever, it is nothing more than what Charles has done himself. He wrote a book. where he talked about his childhood. He's done television interviews where he admitted to an adulterous affair. Do you really want to have that fight? Is that really where you want to take this, Charlie? And that's to say that Charles would even consider something like that. This is just someone's opinion. Now, as we know, sometimes the palace will leak stories like this just to see what the public's reaction is. But that is Harry's place of birth, right? That is Harry's father. Harry's mother died mysteriously in a tunnel in Paris. There's a lot of reasons why this would be a really bad idea. So I hope they are just floating this story just for the fun of it, and that they're not serious about banning him from the country. Lydia Barber says UK still deceive themselves that Harry's popularity is now thin, and yet they can't do without mentioning his name. They are so deceitful. They said Harry, I'm sorry, they said he's not relevant, but now they are wanting him. Yeah, of course they want him desperately because it is selling papers. It is clickbait. And of course, the Sussexes are the most relevant. I mean, whether you like somebody or not is one thing, but having that star appeal, that star quality, you just cannot buy that publicity. If I could quote Queen Latifah in the movie Chicago, man, you just can't buy that kind of publicity. Thank you, Lydia Barber, for your comment. Okay, moving on. Right here, Buckingham Palace, and says Harry and Meghan's second row funeral seats were no snub. You know what? I agree with that. I don't think it was a snub. That put them front and center and gave them lots of camera time. As a matter of fact, it wasn't a snub. It was a way to make Charles look good. And Charles always wants to look good. Charles always wants to look like the doting father. So I agree. It was not a snub. Yep, no snub, no shade. Actually, it was making the Sussexes useful for their diabolical purposes, being so close to his father and his evil stepmother. That's my opinion. They were being very useful in that moment. As a matter of fact, it gave a little balance to the fact that what's his name? His uncle Andy was sitting up there. It gave a little balance to everything and made it seem like they were a close, loving family. I tell you. And you think that all the actors are in Hollywood. I haven't seen acting this bad since the last oh my god, let me think. Who's a bad actor? But anyway, that's the last time I've seen acting that bad. Okay. Uh for a 73-year-old man, he's small and insecure, as he's always been. As he's always been. I mean, think about it. For all of his breeding and all of his power, um, he literally collapsed under the weight of Princess Diana. Her popularity just destroyed his very fragile ego. And then this right here. Let me see here. Okay, 72 to 80 hours later, Kate is still trending. Buckingham Palace, you've got a problem. Well, these are two different things here. That's why I gave them the red squares. I didn't know that. I didn't know yesterday that Kate was trending. I had no idea that Kate was trending. But and that's all I have to say about it is Kate. And then, of course, Pierce Morgan, that hog-haired Pierce Morgan. Woke up, remembered Piers Morgan's coverage of the Queen's funeral received 8,000 viewers, 16 times less than the Emoji Movie on Channel 5 got, and thought of how sometimes storming off a popular show cause a princess doesn't want to hang out with you anymore is a bad, bad, bad idea, you hog-headed fool. But let's not forget, he wasn't the only one who walked off a set. This person right here, she also fired herself. I wonder what the conversation was that morning when they phoned each other, or should I say that evening, because Piers Morgan was already jobless, and then after that, it was her turn. Don't you dare cry. Don't you dare cry. You better not cry. Don't you dare cry. Then it was her turn. Both of them, two adult people, two very posh, high minded people, fired themselves within 24, 48 hours. They both fired themselves. I couldn't make that up either. Fired, fired. And they did it to themselves. They literally stormed out of television. But you know what the funniest part about this is for me? I can still hear Pierce Morgan in my head saying, and as for Sharon Osbourne, she'll be fine. It's not as though Sharon is looking for work. There's work looking for Sharon. Sharon's not looking for a job. There are jobs looking for Sharon. Where they at? Where they at? Aside from doing a walk on the day of the Queen's funeral, or perhaps doing some walk on to the ailing, failing Pierce Morgan show, what else has she done? Where she's been? What job opportunities? What was out there lingering? What was out there lingering out there for her that they couldn't wait for her to throw the shackles of the talk so that she could be free to appear on some other television show? Television is a dying industry, and the hate and vitriol from people like Pierce Morgan and Sharon Osbourne is no longer in vogue. It's no longer in vogue. So, what did they think was going to happen? Where did they think this was going to go? Exactly what opportunities were there out there? Who was wringing their hands, hoping and praying, oh, if we can just get Sharon Osbourne in here. Oh, we can turn these numbers around if we can just get Sharon. Where's Sharon? Any idea? Where's Sharon? If we could just get Sharon, we could turn these numbers around. And guess what? It didn't happen. It did not happen. It's not going to happen. She's through. Nobody wants her. Nobody wants Pierce, and nobody wants her. Everything that they do henceforth is going to be a complete disaster. And nothing proves that better than their coverage of the Queen's funeral. They're done. Done, done, done. So let me get over here. This just came in. It is actually the photo I showed you yesterday was a mock-up. This is the actual um, granite slab on the Queen's tomb. That is it right there. Just as the mock-up, very simple. Elizabeth II and Philip. And above that, you can see it says George VI. Just barely see that. And Elizabeth. So that is that's the Queen's tomb. They opened it, they put them together, and they sealed it for all eternity. So it's done. That is what was just shared while I was talking a little while ago. And I said, I'll share this with you. That is that. That's the original. That's how it was a little while ago. And this is how it has changed. Okay. Levin says Queen Camilla should go to America to counteract the Sussex's popularity. As if. As if. And Kaiser from Celebrity, that blue crushed velvet, that is her favorite photo of Camilla. She uses that one all the time. Even I'm not that shady. And then, of course, there's the other photo. They have a few photos that they love to share of Camilla that they use again and again. Okay, super chat time. Belle Louise says, Baron, I'm new to the channel, but I saw a TV interview with a guy who married an indigenous woman saying that he is Charles and Camilla's first son. I saw that guy. As a matter of fact, thank you for sharing that. This guy has been around for some years. Sorry, I'm fooling with my microphone here, but okay, I think I got it just right. But this guy has been around for years, and apparently his grandparents were employed at one time by the royal family, and it could be true. It could be true, but the only thing is, any claim for the British throne, I think that would be forfeited because he would have had to have been born from a married from a married couple, not a couple that married later on, but they, for lack of a better word, for years, the royals have produced children, the men in particular, have produced children that were not eligible for the throne because they were not born of the union of a married couple. And so that would probably render him ineligible for the throne. But if he could ever convince people to do DNA tests, to prove his paternity, then maybe that would help his case. But I just don't see any chance that he would ever possibly get a day in court or be recognized as a potential family member or heir or anything like that. I don't think it's possible, but it's a cool story, and I hope for his sake that it's true. I mean, all the timing and everything makes a lot of sense. So, but yes, we have been aware of him for quite some time. So that's all I can think of, is that I don't think it would change his fortunes a whole lot if it turns out that it's true, but it does make for some interesting storyline. Anyway, thank you, Belle Louise, for joining us here on Royal Sussex. I appreciate that. Got a new subscriber. I appreciate that. And already coming up with some good questions. That is also greatly appreciated here. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching Royal Sussex. Also, we have another super chat from Alma Andrews. Baron, what is Levin Smoke and Camilla versus Sussex's? Uh, I sometimes I say to myself, Angela Levin couldn't possibly be serious. But then, without hesitation, without any forethought, she just comes up with the most diabolical storylines. And this one right here, this idea, this suggestion that Queen Camilla, they will hand Camilla her behind. I think that a lot of British people underestimate how loved Princess Diana was here in the United States, how we grieved, how we watched that coffin procession, and we wept right along with them. We were a nation in shock. Every year, the university, I'm sorry, Northwestern University reminisces about the time that the Princess of Wales, the people's princess, came to visit. When Lily Diana was born, Northwestern University was very quick to celebrate the fact that Lily Diana was born the day, the anniversary of the day that Princess Diana came to visit. That is still something that people old and new at that university talk about, is that day that Princess Diana came. I mean, she's literally um, owned. I mean, it was like they gave her the keys to the city of Chicago. That was like one of her big solo trips, if not the only big solo trip that she had, where they just rolled out the red carpet and treated her as though she was the queen that she was. And so, given all of that, how they think that people are going to, do leaps and bounds, if they're going to do something like that, all I can say is the timing is perfect. Better do it now before people lose interest. You might still have curious gawkers that wants to come out and see what happens when a person refuses to moisturize. Okay, there are people who are morbid enough and curious enough to wants to know what happens to someone who won't moisturize to save their own life. Now that is a possibility, but other than that, I just don't see any great interest. I mean, sure, the news cameras will follow her and stuff like that, but there's always going to be that deep love and affection for Princess Diana, and it's not even so much outdoing the Sussexes. They would have to outdo the memory of Diana, and I just don't know that that's possible. I mean, if you guys notice, Prince Charles doesn't spend a lot of time in the United States. He goes to Canada all the time and stuff like that, but he doesn't even spend a lot of time here. So why would we want him to bring the fruit of his adulterous affair to the United States? I'm just asking for a friend. So anyway, thank you so much, Alma Andrews, for your super chat, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Prince William says he's is caught out by moments of sadness while he's grieving for the Queen, as he and Kate thank Windsor Castle staff who organized the committal service in first public engagement since the funeral. Now, you guys know they are so distraught and overcome with grief, and oh, they are just without composure. I'm just kidding. They having such a good time. They've never had it so good. They are so much closer to their ultimate goal. Um, Doing cartwheels, jazz hands, high fives, all that stuff that they have been wanting. They are so much closer. As a matter of fact, I think they both take turns calling Charles' private phone. And as soon as he, hello, whatever hello is, boo! They probably go, boo! Hoping that they could shock him in some kind of way and then just wait for him to hit the floor. That's what they've been doing. They have probably put whoopee cushions and probably run up behind Charles with one of those air horns. I mean, I'm sure there's all kind of things that they've been doing, putting plastic cling wrap across the doorway or on the toilet. They have been busy. They have been busy as a cat covering up poop, trying to figure out how can we finally get to where we want to be. So yeah, they never had it so good. So they just laughing and grinning. As a matter of fact, this may have brought them closer together. Who knows? They seem to be thick as thieves. Anyway, but thank you for your comment. So, you guys, another moment that has given me chills today. Good God Almighty, has we been on here for 2 hours? I just noticed that. How have we been on here for 2 hours? I just looked. I literally just looked. I'm like, 2 hours? Oh, okay, you guys. Let me get through this here. I can't believe it's been 2 hours. But in Tehran, women's uprising. This is something that is giving me chills. I love this. Treating treating women like children as though God has not given them a complex mind equal if not greater than that of any man. Why in the world do you think it's okay to treat them like children, to withhold education and medical treatment, to prevent them from going out in public by themselves and all of that other archaic stuff? Sure, have your religion, but you don't have to suppress women in order to be closer to God. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So I'm so glad to see this. And yes, it is going to cause a lot of unnecessary bloodshed. Well, I shouldn't say unnecessary bloodshed because if it will ultimately free women to love and create and to dream and to hope and to build and fulfill themselves with self-worth, then it's necessary. But enough is enough. The revolution ended some time ago, and this theocracy that these women have been suffering under all these years, it is time. It is time. It's been time. So this is like my favorite thing I've seen all day. Um, and I'm glad for it. So I hope and pray, you know. And if you guys can go on social media and show some kind of support, this is just so necessary. It is 2022. Enough of all of this Sharia law and all that kind of stuff. Enough of that. Let them breathe free. Let them dream. Let them build. Let them do creative things outside of being, and with that being said, there are a lot of women in Iran that appreciate very, very good lives with their families and such. There's a lot of educated women there, that their society very much mirrors many other societies, but they still do have people that go around and police a woman based on how she has her hijab and all that kind of stuff. That is so outdated. That is so outdated. One of the places I've always wanted to go to Iran is not this nightmare of a country that we have been sold in the West. They have a very comfortable lifestyle there, not as much as they should, not as much as they should, but they do live in great comfort. They love their families and their children and such, just like we do. So it's not as bad as you might think it is. And anyway, let me say this. Some time ago, I saw a documentary by Rick Steves, the guy from PBS, the travel guru Rick Steves. And I have to say, the best work that he's ever done was when he went to Iran. If you guys haven't seen it, do see it. Rick Steves, the vacation guy, Rick Steves travels in Europe. He has a special hour-long documentary in Iran, and um, he talks about a little bit about the politics, but the point of it was the people. And I think you will be pleasantly surprised by what you see. So if you haven't seen it, please do. I mean, after you see it, you'll say to yourself, I wouldn't mind going there. It's not what I thought it was. Very friendly, loving people. And that's all I'll say about it. But I'll try to remember to put a link on the community tab. Katerina Kemp, thank you so much for the super sticker and thank you for watching Royal Sussex and being a member of Royal Sussex. How about that? Love it. Did anyone hear that Charles invited Harry to dinner without Meghan and Harry said no. Yes, Kate Herrera, we actually spoke about that earlier. We did. I actually had a bit of a meltdown about that. Today, many Brits still hate the Duchess of Sussex. Meghan, hold your head up. Iranians are protesting the cold blooded murder of a young woman for not wearing her headscarf properly. Americans are protesting women's health care being compromised. Donald Trump is still free. So, yes, Stella Parton is a righteous sister in the fight. So, you guys, if you're not following her on social media, you should. She was very clear calling out the tabloid media as being quite racist. And she also took exception to the treatment of the Duchess of Sussex. So, that is why I follow her on social media. But yes, all those things and quite a bit more. Um, the Many of the Brits, that is many, not all, not even the majority, hate the Duchess of Sussex. Meghan, hold your head up. And yes, the Iranians women are fighting for their rights. So okay, you guys, I think that was it, right? Oh, one more. Tyler Perry talks open about Harry and Meghan. That is in the root. So if you follow the root, it is there. Also, Prince William simply can't forgive his brother Harry's behavior because he always thought his brother would be his wingman, claims royal author. We talked about that yesterday. They were trying to turn Harry into Margaret 2.0, and Harry got the heck out of there. All right, you guys, thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Of course, I will be here tomorrow. Hopefully, Duchess of Success Anne is feeling better. She I think she was been exhausted for a couple of days and has not been available. But it looks like today she is still scheduled for 3 p.m. It appears. So 3 p.m. my time, Central Time. That is in a very short while that she'll be on. So check your listing. I'm Central Time. So but she'll be on later. It says here, let me see if there's a countdown. Let me see how long it is. Oh, 3 minutes. All right, you guys, I'm getting out of here. She's on in 3 minutes. Thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. Happy Friday. No, live in. Oh, yeah. It looks like she's on in 3 minutes. So I'm going to go. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate y'all being here. We are going to ginger avenge ourselves out of here. And also, thank you for the donations. I don't think I have a list today. Let me see. I don't think Sherry Ware was here today. So I don't have a list, but that's okay. You guys, I think I acknowledged everyone real time. So I do thank you for being here. Thank you, new subscribers, new members. Greatly appreciate it. This has not been a Mark Goodson or Bill Totson production. There were no animals maimed or injured throughout this entire episode of Royal Sussex. And of course, there was no nudity involved, although I probably would have anyway. But I don't think that there was any nudity involved. But I don't know, maybe I could have briefly have. Let me put something on the screen here. I have absolutely nothing on the screen. Okay. I don't have anything to put on the screen. Oh, yes, I do. I tell you what I have. Thank you, Mama Doria. Thank you, Mama Diana, for those amazing kids of yours. And also, I need a last word of the day. And I am going to listen to Anne and make myself something to eat. Okay, that's our last word of the day. Miss VSN CO9 says, have a great weekend, everyone. See y'all tomorrow. All right, we'll see you tomorrow then. Okay, thanks, everybody. Love you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Let's ginger binge. I'm not coming back and talking later. I am actually leaving for show. So, cue Ginger Avenger. Where are you, Ginge? Ginge. There you go. Cue. Okay, I just pinned a link. Let me make sure that's the right link. And I think that is Duchess of Success, is it? Let me see. Yes, it is. That is today. So she should be starting any second now. It is 3:00. Yep. So she about to start. All right. See you guys. I will see y'all tomorrow, right? And I'm still working on doing another video, but I'll get to it. And anyway, you'll probably see it later. Love you. I'm out of here. Au revoir, au revoir, and end broadcast.